Okay, so in the previous lab session, you guys have already learned about DNS and DNS server. Today we will learn about web server. But before we do the lab sessions, there are a few requirements, which is make sure your record A and PTR on the domain that you make in the previous lab session points to the IP of Water 7 node. Don't forget, and also make sure all of your nodes is running correctly and can connect to the internet. And you guys can check it by running ping in the node. And uh, just if you want to try it later on, you can just watch the recording or do follow these steps in this module. And yeah, and make sure you follow the steps correctly and check the syntax and make it the same as the module, because most likely if you encounter any problems or errors, it is due to a typing error or typo. Yeah. So let's get on to the basic theory. So what is a web server? A web server is a software or a hardware that will serve the content uh, over the web, and it is typically using the protocol of HTTP or HTTPS. So the purpose is to host and delivers a web page. It can be image, videos, or other content to a client or a user. And uh, when we open, when we open a web in our browser, what we actually do is we send a request to the web server of the web pages, and then uh, it the server will respond and returns the appropriate resource to our browser. Then there are also load balancing. What is load balancing? Load balancing is a mechanism that works by dividing the workload. So load balancing is a process that will distribute incoming traffic or workload across multiple server. And uh, load balancer is the tool that we use to do load balancing. And there is also various load balancing algorithms. And as you can see in this image, this is a simple load balancing architecture that contains a server. This is the user. The user will send a request to the load balancer to the internet. Then the load balancer will divide the load into these multiple servers. Then why do we need load balancing? Uh, we need load balancing to handle large number of users accessing a service at one time. So in a real world application, usually a service is run by multiple servers, because if we only have one servers, it cannot handle a large amount of user. So they usually use multiple servers, and the job of the load balancer here is to divide the workload to those multiple servers, so the server will run efficiently. And then Apache Web Server. So Apache Web Server is a open source software of web server. It is widely used, and commonly called Apache. And we will use Apache Web Server in our lab session. And later we will uh, install the Apache in our node. Okay. Okay. Mas Vino will share the screen for us to practically do the installation. Okay, so links. What is links? There are also another software called Links. Links is actually just a web browser, but it runs on the command line, so it can run on the command line because in your GNS you guys only have a command line interface. Then we will use links to access a website. Okay, and we will install links in the lockdown node of our GNS. Just run apt-get update in lockdown, then install it using apt-get install links. Okay, then you can try, after it's installed correctly, you can try to uh, use links to open Google. Yes. Uh, there will be an option whether you want to save the cookie or not. Just answer it. You guys can answer any of the following option. Nah, after that, this will display a Google website in the command line. So we will use links to access a website using our command line. Okay. Okay, and then the next one now, the Apache, the web server, the Apache, we will do the installation in our Water 7 node. So go to our Water 7 node, and then uh, just install the Apache using apt-get install Apache. After it's installed correctly, uh, you guys can check by uh, using links command to access the IP of your Water 7 node. Links, and then the command is links, then input the IP of the Water 7, which we have installed the Apache server. Nah, oh, don't forget to run the Apache first in the Water 7 using service Apache 2 start. Then use the links in the lockdown node then it will result in this web page, which is this is the default page of Apache that we will later configure the resource. This means that your Apache server is running correctly. Okay, then we will also need a PHP, and we will install it in the node water 7 node. Just run apt get install PHP. Then you guys can check the version of the PHP after it's installed. Just select the geographic area and the region according to our location. 35. I think it's 35. Yeah. Check. Okay. After it's done, you can check the version using PHP-v. If it's installed correctly, then it is we can get on to the next submodule. Okay, so we will get to know Apache more. So there are a few configuration in Apache, and this configuration is located in the /etc/apache2 directory. You guys can try to open the directory. Now, there will be a few files there, which is all the configuration. Those few files are apache2.conf, which is the main configuration of the Apache. And to configure the ports, there is the ports.conf file. And there are also website configuration and modules configuration. Sites available is a directory where the website configuration is located, and while sites enabled is directory where the website configuration is available and the currently active website configuration. Same as module, mods available is a directory of the list of available Apache 2 modules, while the mods enabled is the list of the currently available and currently active Apache 2 modules. So there are a few frequently used commands in Apache. If you configure a new website settings or new module settings, you will need to enable it first before it can be applied. And these are some commands to enable the website settings or the module settings. And then let's just try to configure the Apache directly. So in the Apache web server node, let's move to the sites available directory. Sites available directory. And when you list all the available files in this directory, there will be two files. The 000-default.conf is the default configuration for HTTP, and the default -sslconf is the default configuration for HTTPS. And we will try to open the default.conf configuration using nano. Okay, then this will be the configuration. As you can see in the first line, there is virtual host 80. What is this? This is the defined port for the Apache for the website configuration. And then there are also document root, as you can see, document root in the code. Document root is used as the directory where our website files will be served. So in our case, we will insert the default document root, this /var/www/html, and then we can move to the direct document root directory, the /var/www/h. Then check if there is HTML. You go to the directory. Then in the index .php, oh, in the we will try to create index.php, Okay, then just copy the code from the module. Yeah. And then save it. After you save it, we will try to access the website using links. And using links, from our lockdown node, use HTTP, if you know HTTP, links, HTTP, yes, and then /index.php in the end, index.php. Okay. Can you check the IP address? Okay. Wait, can you try to run the index.html? Oh, okay. I think we haven't. Maybe we need to restart the Apache server, I think. Apache to restart. Okay. Then after we restart it, let's try to. Okay. So don't forget, guys, if you make any new configuration in the Apache web server, please don't forget to run Apache service Apache to restart the web server. Otherwise, it will not be applied in the server settings. So this is our website, which we have already made in the php.index.php. Then now we will try to configure the website, but using port 8080. In the Water 7 node, in the Apache Web Server node, we will go to the sites available directory. Then we will copy the 000-default conf using cp command to a new file named default hyphen 8080.conf. Okay, after you run these commands, okay, open the file that you copied, then change the port in the first line to 8080, and also change the document root and to a new directory, which is var /www/web hyphen 8080. Okay, then we can save the configuration file, and now let's add the port configuration in the ports.conf file that is located in the etc/apache2 directory. Then click use nano to edit the configuration. This is ports.conf is the file for the configuration of the ports running on Apache. So to add a new port, just write listen and then the port number. You can write this in below the default listen 80. Then save the configuration. After you save the configuration, we will need to enable the configuration first using this command a to enable site dot and okay. After we enable the configuration, don't forget to restart the Apache server. Okay, then we will move to our document root directory var/www, and we will make a new directory named web-8080. And in this directory, we will create our website code, which is index.php. Yeah, and you can copy the code from the module. After that, you can save the code. Then we will try to access our website, our port 8080 website using the links command from our lockdown node. And as you can see, the website is running by outputting our index.php file. Okay. And this submodule will be explained by Mas Vino.
Okay, so for the next submodule, we're gonna go into domain settings on Apache or Apache. So we need to move to the Apache sites available first. And then we need to copy the default configuration into our new web server, which is jarcom 2021.com. And we need to add the .conf in the end. So it would be so it should look like this. It has charcom2022.com.conf, and then we can open the file, and we need to change the server name. Server name is for the domain. So in this example, it's said www.example.com, but we need to change it into our DNS that we already making yesterday, which is charcom2022.com. And we also need to specify the server alias. It's for the scene name. If you remember yesterday, we set up a CNAME in our DNS server, which is point www.charcom2022.com into charcom2022.com. So we need to define the server aliases as well. And okay, so here is a basic notes for the server name and server alias. What's the difference between the two of them? So server name is the host name and port that server used to identify itself. So if you have multiple configuration like this, it can be identified by the server name. So in this case, we have two configuration that are running on HTTP port, which is 88, port 80. We have this one, so we can save it first. And we also have the default configuration, which is running on the port 80 as well. So because there are two configuration that are running on port 80, we need to define them by using server name. And if the server name is the same, the website gonna access like the first indexed first. So in this case, the jarcom2022.conf is the same as default.conf, and therefore the web browser will access this first to display it. But if you specify uh, the server name, then you can just type the domain server, and then the web server will display this configuration instead of the default configuration. And for server alias is for alternate names for the host used when matching request to the name virtual host. So when you try to access this web server using www.jarcom2022.com, it would still redirect to this configuration instead of another configuration. And we forgot to add something in here, which is the document root. We need to change it into or www.jarcom2022.com. Okay, and we need to enable the site using A to N site. And site Jarcom 2022. Okay, and then we can reload or restart service Apache to restart. Okay, and then we need to make our page, which is located in var/var/www, and then we can create our new directory called jarcom2022.com. It should be the same as the directory that you specify in this document, right? Okay, and then we need to make a PHP or index.php, and then fill it with this command, and then okay, we can verify that using links to the http/jarcom2022.com. Okay, it says unable to connect. Okay, we can ping this, but we can access it, or we need to just do something like this. Okay, I guess there is a problem in the DNS server, which is in the NS lobby. We can try to debug that first. So in here, NS lobby is 5009. And we can open the Jarcom 2022, and if we see in here, we need to remove this and then restart the by 9. Okay, it's already but it's still pointing to the 10.10.22, which is this is the host name of the NS lobby, not the water siphon. So what we need to have is it should pointing into this one. So 10.10.2.3. We can open the chart on 2020.com again, and if we see in here, we see that it's still pointing to the 2, not the 3. So we can change it now and restart the Pi 9 again. And after that, it should pointing to the 10.10.2.3. And if we try to access it using links, it should display what we want in the index.php. See, it's the same. Water 7 in is a city in one place. Okay. If you guys have any question, you can just ask before it's too late to the next step. Okay, for the next, okay, we're given this structure, and those are from the page.zip, I guess. Uh, Wait, maybe we just try to like doing the same structure. So in here, we can create the structure in the for www.jarcom2020.com. We make assets, JavaScript, and then data, and then download, and then slash img. Okay. Okay, we already follow the structure here. Okay, we already done this. So we need to activate the directory listing for the slash download. So directory listing actually enables your web server to display the directory into the browser. So in this case, we are gonna expose the directory listing for the slash download. So we can configure, let me just close this first. we can configure in the PC Apache 2 and then sites available. We're gonna configure the charcom.conf, and in here we need to add uh, an option to directory. So directory for ubuntu.com/download, and we will enable the indexes. So indexes mean it's open for the public for the directory. And if you type minus in here, it means that it's not allowed, but plus is for the allowed option. Okay, and then we need to restart. And if we access the /download, okay, it's not fun. Wait, because I made a typo. And if you visit the DNS and then /download, it's gonna display the directory listing. So in here you can just open the image, and then because it's empty directory, we can go back in here. How to move back? Okay. So let's try to add something in our EMG. Or in other node, we can echo file. This file. And if we refresh it, how to refresh? Okay, Control R, and then it's gonna display the file. And if you open the file, you can see this is file. So that's how you made a directory listing in the Apache 2. Okay, this is just the explanation. So to override an option for a directory in your web server, you can just use directory tag. This is the Apache, and then you can specify the directory that you want, and then just set an option to that. After that, we need to turn off the directory listing. So in here, or just we can open this Apache 2, and then sites available and charcom. In this case, we're gonna disable the directory listing for the assets folder or asset directory. We can type as before, but using minus, as I said before, and then you can save it. And every time you made some changes to your configuration, don't forget to restart the server using server Apache to restart. Where are we? Okay. And then if you try to access the slash assets in here, it's not going to be permitted, and it says 403 forbidden, and then it's going to redirect to the default Apache to forbidden page, which said you don't have permission to access these resources. And then we can also make an alias in here. Okay. In this case, we're going to set an alias for the assets /javascript into the assets CS. And to do that, we need to made another configuration in here. Okay. Okay, look. Hmm, okay. Mm, let's try by restarting and then access the slash asset/cs. It's still not found. Oh, we need to add something in the asset/cs. Let's say we made echo this is yes file into app.js. Okay, it's still state not found. Let's see our configuration again, because we need to change this into Terraform 2022, and we need to restart it again. And if we refresh this, yeah, it said app.js here. Okay, next we go to module rewrite. So module rewrite is to enable the rewrite, and rewrite is like the way you change the URL based on the following rules or something like that. And in this case, we're gonna set the rules so that every time you access a page that has the .php extension, you don't need to type the .php. And to do that, we need to enable the mod first. We can just A to N mod, something like this, and then rewrite. Okay, and then we need to start the web server. And to add the rewrite rules, you can go to your website and then add the .htaccess, or you can just put it in your configuration. But if you put in your configuration, it would be uh, a lot of things in here. So usually we just add in our .htaccess, and it should be in here. So in the top level of your document root. So because we said document root is //www/charcom2020.com, we need to specify the .htaccess in here. So something like this. Yes. And we can just copy this and then place it. Okay. So this means that the rewrite engine is on, and then the rewrite condition is percent request file name. This specify the request file name. So in this case, if I access like /gs, the request file name is this part. And then for this one, not -d, it specifies that the file name can't be the directory. So in this case, because our assets/gs is a directory, this will not satisfy the rewrite condition, and then it's not going to be rewritten into the rewrite rule. So it's going to be bypassed. But if we access /index.php, something like that, they're gonna try to search the /index.php and specify that this is not a directory, and that's after that we rewrite using a regular expression in here that said it should add the .php to the file that we have in here. Okay, this one. $1 is the input parameter that will be searched. And then for the more detail, you can just click on the documentation of the Apache rewrite rule. And after that, we can just save it, I guess. And we need to make another page, which called about.php. And it should has this content in here. Okay. And then we need to add the option into the sets available again. Wait a minute. Okay. We need to add what option? Why this is not changes? Okay. Oh, so be added in here. Okay. Oh, wait, it's not formatting. Okay. We need to change this into 2022. So the explanation for those rules allow override all is that it means that our .htaccess can override the request that's sent into the web server. So that's why we specify allow override all. And then follow symlinks is so that our mod rewrite it so can run. And then for the multi-views, we disable the multi-views to prevent the mod negotiation configuration from running. So mod negotiation can rewrite requests, and then that's why mod negotiation and then mod rewrite should be intercept each other. That's why we add or we disable the multi-views, but we enable the follow symlinks. And after that, we can just service restart. And then we can simply visit without HTTP index or /about, and the rewrite module will convert it into the /about.php. Okay, it's all for the Apache web server. Do you have any question before we're moving on to the Nginx web server? So if you follow the step correctly, you should be able to do all of them. Okay, I guess there's no questions. We can move to the Nginx web server. So Nginx, it's pronounced like Nginx, not Nginx. It's an open source software that serves multiple function. And then the difference between the Nginx and the Apache 2 is Nginx is more powerful than Apache 2. It could be web server like Apache 2 does. It could also be a load balancer, which would be explained in the following module, I guess, in module 3, and then reverse proxy as well. So for the installation, oh, okay, for the installation, we're gonna use the Fuchsia instead of the uh, Anislobby. Oh, I mean, instead of Water 7, because Water 7 contains the Apache 2 web server. So in this case, we're gonna use Fuchsia. So Fuchsia should be 5001. Okay, in Fuchsia, we need to install the Nginx. Using apt get update and apt get install Nginx. Okay, it will take a while. Okay, and then to start the web server using uh, the same command as you start the Apache Surface Nginx start. Instead of Apache 2, you change it into Nginx. And then in here, we're gonna start the Nginx. Okay, it's starting. And then wait. Wait, still stayed on IP Water 7. Uh, wait a minute. Um, okay, I guess it's uh it's a typo. It should be IP Fuchsia. So in this case, let's links to this one or this one. Okay. Uh, uh, you can try whatever you want. So if I links to 10.10.1.1 should still work. And if I try the first option, it still work as well. So you can just go into the IP of the Fuchsia, I guess. And the welcome page to Nginx should be different with the welcome page from Apache 2. In this case, this is the Nginx 1. It's quite simple. And the next is load balancing. Okay, I thought the load balancing should be on the reverse proxy, but yeah, I guess I'm wrong. Let's just explain it to you guys. So load balancing is basically you have one master server. So this one has Nginx in it because it perform as load balancer. And then you have multiple small self server that serve your application. So your application should be in all of these small server or worker server, we could say. And in every worker server in here, it doesn't need to be Nginx for the web server. You can use Apache 2, you can use any web server that you want, but for the load balancer or the master server, you need to use Nginx. And then how load balancer works is when you visit the site or the web or your application, in this case, jarcom.site, or in our case, should be jarcom2022.com. It's gonna visit the master server. So it's gonna point to your master server or load balancer, and then the load balancer would distribute the requests into the multiple small server. So in this case, there are two people accessing your website at the same time. The first one could be from the node 1, the second one could be from the node 2 or from the node 3. It depends on the algorithm that you use in your load balancer. Okay, as we can see here, we can also use another type of architecture, namely weighted load balancing, by adding weight parameter. So in the normal load balancer or in the classic load balancer algorithm, every request is going to be passed like sequentially into the small server. So if you're the fourth people that accessing the load balancer or the server, you're going to be uh, you're going to get a content from the node 1 instead of node 2 or node 3. But in this case, in the weighted load balancing, you have a percentage for every small server. So 10% of the time it's going to be allocated from node 3, 20% of the time allocated from node 2, and then 40% of the time it's going to be allocated for node 1. So it's not going to be 1-1-1, but it's 40-20 and 10. And the algorithm has name. These are most common load balancing method or algorithms. The first one is round robin, the classical load balancing. So every time another people visit the server, and then it's gonna distribute into the next small server. So in this case, if there are 3 nodes, the order is the first node, and then followed by the second node, and then the last one is the third node. So what is called the syntax looks like this. And then for the list connection is gonna check which server that has uh least connection. So if all of people accessing node 2 and node 3, so node 1 would be the least connection, and then when a new people or new person trying to access your server, it's gonna redirect it into the node 1. And then for the syntax, you just need to add list connection or list con before you specify the server. And then for the IP hash, uh, it's gonna hash the user IP address, and then based on those hashing, it's gonna put into your like the server. So if my IP address in local, let's say my IP address is this one 190, it's going to be hashed, and then the value of the hashed is going to be divided by the 3 in this case, because we have 3 server, and then based on the hash, it's going to be placed into a server. And the last one is the generic hash. The generic hash is you can use whatever you want to hash in here. In this case, we can hash the request URI or URL. So if we access the github.com/, blah, 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 it's going to be hashed, and then it's going to be mapped into a specific server. And you can put another variables in here to specify what determine load balancing method. Okay. In Nginx, upstreams refers to a group of cluster of nodes. So in this case, if you specify the upstream and then the name of the upstream, you can just specify the load balancing method in there. And then for the reverse proxy is basically a proxy system used to forward or bypass the client request. So basically, proxy pass is you can access other websites from your website. So the simple explanation would be like that. So in this case, the syntax for the Nginx is different from the uh, Apache 2. So in this case, we have our server that open on port 80 and then has the server name like this. And then for the location slash block, it's gonna redirect it into slash block.jarcom.site port 80 port 8000 slash post. So basically you're gonna visit another website from a website, something like that. So it's like a redirected version. That is reverse proxy. You can use proxy pass in here. And we just gonna go to the oh why why do we need to make another topology in here? Wait, let's see the Indonesian version. This is also need to make all of them. I guess it too. Okay, let's just hmm. Okay, we already have the Fuchsia, Lockdown, Alabasta, Anis Lobby, and Water 7, so we don't need to change all of them, but we need to change the Dressrosa in here. Oh, let's change this into Dressrosa. Okay. And then for the configuration, we're gonna use this one. And don't forget to add echo name server IP of our DNS server, which should be 1010 wait, should be 1010 23. Wait a minute. If we open our Anis lobby, which is online. Hmm. Okay, so Anis lobby has 2.2. So because it's already assigned IP, we can just change the Dressrosa into 2.4. Where's my DNS? 2.4. And then for the Anis lobby is 2.2, so we need to add the name server into /etc/resolve.com. Okay, and we can add the connection from this into here. And for the symbol, we can change into load balancer. Yeah, just use this the one, I guess. Okay, and we can start the dress process. For the configuration, we can just skip all of those, and we need to install the Pine9 and the Nginx in the Dressrosa. So we can open the Dressrosa. Should be 13. Huh? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I guess we need to make another topology for this because we are making another DNS server. It's a load balancer though. Okay, let's just use the Jarcom 2022. So we don't need to install Pine9 in here. We're just gonna install uh, Nginx, and we can skip the DNS server configuration because we already did it yesterday. Testing the domain created. Okay, whatever. And actually, we need to change something. If we ping into charcom2022.com, it would point to water 7, and we need to change this to point into the Dressrosa. So in here, we did the first name test. Uh, we can uh, open the Anis lobby for our DNS server before, and just modify the .com2022.com, and we can modify this into 4. And because we don't need all of these, just remove all of them. And then restart the Pine9. After that, if we ping Jarcom 2022, it should goes from it should point to this host name. And if we start the Nginx in here, we can open the links using jarcom2022.com, and it should redirect to our Nginx server. Okay. We can move on to the next. We are making Nginx worker in the Anis lobby. Oh, I don't know why uh, they made it in the Anis lobby, but okay. In here, we need to install Nginx, PHP, and PHP FVM for the PHP server. So just install it using apt-get, install Nginx, PHP, FVM, that's fine. Just type num random. Okay, already did it, and PHP does v. Okay, it's already installed, and we need to create a directory, and then we move to that directory. And create index.php in here, and just copy this, paste this, and save it. Okay, we're gonna move into the /etc nginx. And then we create a configuration from jarcom, and we gonna copy this. Okay, and I will explain later, but let's just copy and then enable the website or application. So before using Apache, you can just use A2N site, but in Nginx, you need to create your symbolic link yourself. So symbolic link is like a shortcut in Windows. So this means that whatever in here says enabled gonna points up into the /jarcom in here. So we can just put that command and restart the Nginx. Oh, kenapa? Why? Let's move up. Wait. Okay, so basically, I will rewrap the configuration on the Nginx. So the main configuration on Nginx should contain server. Server is for your web server. So it has server, and then it has a block. This is like the block inside the server that you need to define server. So in here, it's a bunch of syntax that you can use. First one is listen. Listen is the port that you open. In this case, is 80. It means that the web server is going to be run using HTTP or port 80. And then root is for the document root, where your application saved, because we save our application in for www.vue.com. We can type that. And then this is for index. Index is like the which file should be the first mounted file on the web server. So if your browser visit just like this, links.jarcom2022.com, which file Nginx should redirect to when it got that request. So in this case, the index, we specify index.php, index.html, or index.htm. Actually, you can just use index.php, because we only have one file, index.php, inside our jarcom directory. And then for server name is the same as Apache. It just to distinguish between two configuration that has the same port. And in this case, we can change the server name actually. What's it called? Jarcom. Okay, let's change the server name into jarcom2022.com. Okay, and for location slash, whenever it got slash or it mounted into the first page, they're gonna try opening the files according to URI, and then if this failed or it's not a file or it's a directory, then it's gonna try URI slash, and then if not, it's gonna try index.php and then put it a query string onto that. This is a basic configuration for PHP. If you
if you serve a PHP application on Nginx. And this is for the PHP script for fast CGI server. So that's why we install php-fvm in here, because php-fvm is the engine or the application that could run the PHP. And that's why every time we hit PHP pages or files, this means that location squiggles line, it means that in every location that we encounter .php, we need to enable our fastCGI using this one /var/run blah 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 .sock. This is the configuration for the fastCGI pass, and then this is we include the fastCGI configuration. And this is just for the disable the directory listing. So in this case, when users try to access .ht or every file that starts with .ht, it's just gonna deny. So it's gonna return a forbidden. Because this is typically when your application should be served using Apache 2, but you upgraded using Nginx. That's why in your application still has .ht, like .ht access, like before we mentioned. That's why in Nginx we need to remove that access so the user can access that file. And this is just for the log. Okay, we can we already restart the service. And to check the correctness, you can use nginx-t. The configuration is okay. This means that our configuration has no error. And we also need to install nginx in here. Wait, this is large town. It's not water 7. Okay. We need to install it in water 7, which is 11. Nginx and PHP FPM, I guess. Yes. Okay, so we are going to copy the charcom configuration in here. I just copy all of them. Okay, we can. Copy it and Nginx sites available. And then we're gonna what we do charcom. Then paste it. And then restart the Nginx, and we can go to, okay, restarting Nginx is failed. Okay, we need to go to for www. And then we need to make charcom directory, because the root directory is charcom. And in here, we need to create another index.php and just copy this file. And after that, let's try to restart the Nginx again. And it should be failed because we still have Apache going on. So let's just stop the Apache 2 and restart the Nginx. Should be, wait, I can't see. Okay. Okay, we can quit this and Okay, before moving on to that, we can try to access the server or the application using the host name. So in here, we can just try links, http:// Okay, it's still display the Apache page because this is usually happen when you have Apache and Nginx at the same time. So in this case, we can move to for www, and then it still has the default HTML in here. Or we can actually go back to Nginx sites available. Sorry. In here, you can see that there's still a default configuration. You need to remove that default configuration or disable. If you don't want to remove it, just disable in the sites enabled. Okay, we just remove the default. It's the same for this. We need to remove the etc nginx sites enabled default. Okay. And oh yeah, we need to restart this one as well. And if we access, it's a bad gateway. Okay, why it's a bad gateway? It's already displaying Nginx though. Yeah, let's try the water server. What? White becoming though? Hmm? Hey, maybe we have a problem in our configuration, but that should not be the case because the Nginx configuration syntax is okay. Maybe we can move to the load balancer first. And in here, wait, it should be okay though. Let's try to install links in here. Yes. We can try to links to the local host or 127.0.0.1. What? Okay, service status nginx. Service nginx status. The nginx is already running, but it can access it. Why it's unable to access the host? But it's on the local host. Ah, it's the same result. Should point to the DNS server. Why it still can access the page? Unable to connect to remote host. But it's your own IP. Okay, we can move on to the Dressrosa first. Here we need to go to the site available again. And we need to make another configuration file called load balancer.com, and here we can just paste it using the default configuration. Wait. Wait, one happened. Okay. Um, Maybe it's because the space. We need to change our IP into 10 to 2, I guess. Mm, yes, and for water 7 should be 10 to 3. And then the server name should be jarcom2022.com. And then for the proxy pass should be redirected to my web, and then my web should be the load balancer. Okay. And then we can symbolic links to sites enabled to enable that, and we need to restart the Nginx. Okay, it's flipped. It should be Nginx restart. And if we access to charcom2022.com, it should that gateway. Yes. I don't know why it should be a pet gateway. Let's see. It still has a default, so let's remove these sites enabled default, and then run nginx min t, and restart. It's still bad gateway because it's redirected to here, uh, which is bad gateway. So maybe instead of let's try install links in here. Let's see what's wrong with this code. Let's just remove the server name. Uh, we have all of them set up correctly though. And let's restart Nginx. And we can try to visit the localhost. And it's still pet gateway, which should be the problem on the Nginx side. But in here, we are unable to connect to the localhost. What's wrong? Did I just modify the jargon here? Okay. Let's try to restructurize this for clear reading. Mm. Ah, we have PHP 7.2 though. Let's see. Do we have this? Hmm. Oh, because our PHP FVM is not running. So it should be run first using service PHP 7.2 FVM start, and we can access our website. That's why that's a troubleshoot for you. But why we still can access here? Like even we use localhost, we still can uh access it. Let's see service PHP 7.2 -fvm. Status is not running as well, so we need to start it and service nginx restart, I guess. Oh, we still unable to connect to here. But okay, let's ditch out the water 7 and try another wait. Another node, because water 7 already has Apache 2 right in there, so it might be confusing for them. Let's try Alabasta because he's doing nothing, and then we can just go there and install our web server, which means we get install nginx and then PHP FVM. Why? Okay, you need to update first. And we need to copy the configuration in here. So we need to make configuration of nginx sites. Oh, because I haven't installed it yet. Well, there actually troubleshoot in here. 502 gateway, ensure that the PHP socket used in the server plug methods. And 404 not found, 403 forbidden. Yeah, you need to restart the PHP FVM because it's not running by default. Okay. Okay, we can change our configuration. So we can copy this configuration and paste it in here. And we can just service nginx restart and service PHP 7.2 FPM restart. Wait, fail. Status is running. Okay. The next step we need to go to for www and meet.com and then index.php. And we need to copy the content of this. Let's just change this into Alabasta. And after that, we need to remove the etc nginx sites enabled, the default configuration. And we also need to Steam link. Where's the Steam link? This one. Okay. And if we try to visit the IP, which is 1.3, it still said welcome to Nginx, which means that we haven't restarted the Nginx. Okay, we're restarting and we visit, it said kamu berada di Alabama. Okay, so we're in the correct path in here. Let's check the name server or the etc result. Okay, it's pointing to the this one, I think. Okay, so it's correct. The next step we need to change is wait, what? Theme? Okay. For let's remove and then we change this into the 1.3 because it's the IP of Alabasta. Okay. And we need to restart server service nginx restart. And it's restarting, and because we need one more let's open here. See, if you refresh the page, it's gonna redirect to the other server. The first one you redirected to Ennis Lobby, and the second one you're in Alabasta. And if you try a different method or different algorithm for the load balancer in here, it's gonna do a different behavior. But you can see that Nginx could also be a load balancer, which that setup, and then you got distributed to the two server that you have. For more coverage to the load balancer should be covered in next module and reverse proxy, I'm pretty sure, because it's too much if it should be in one module. This is one load balancing advanced, and it's gonna explore more about other type of load balancer. So we're not gonna cover it in here. And yeah, that's all. You can have nice running application using load balancer. Do you have any question regarding this module? Okay, so it's okay. You guys still learning. You can watch the record if you want. If there's no more questions, then I can just finish in here for today lab session. Thank you guys for attending today lab session, and don't forget to try it. You can try using the module to follow the module, or you can try using my approach, which is the configuration for the nodes is not changed from the previous lab session, which is DNS. But if you choose to follow the module, you can make a new topology and then copy all of the settings that have been placed in here. Okay, thank you guys for attending the lab session, and see you on next lab session. Thank you. You can leave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mas.